Heaven was the depth of ice cold and black. Every night at the crossroads, half the moon hit screaming back. You heard the stories, so it was no surprise. But at AM, the man died in the gutter, fire flash in the sky. You never know somebody till you've seen them separate survive. Some people see salvation from below, others from the sky. The death that died in plain sight. Blood comes when liquor is alone, singing, God, I'm the devil, and the devil is going home.
What is going on, guys, and welcome back to episode number 9 of the Fighters Walk podcast. I am your host, Corey Keene, and it is a beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Got a little bit of a late start. I was going to record yesterday, but man, let me tell you, working a summer camp with kids ranging from first grade all the way to 8th grade takes a lot out of you. Coaching flag football, doing what I do. It's fun, man. It's a good time, great camp. I'm enjoying myself. It's getting me out of the house, doing something other than just kind of hanging out, laying by the pool, playing a lot of Xbox. So can't really beat it. It's a great gig, but does tire you out. But I'm here, episode, like I said, number 9. Still pumped, rocking the UFC merch. Yo, I just wanted to say, this shirt that the fighters get, I have never felt more badass wearing this shirt than any other shirt I've ever owned in my life. Whether it's the nicest shirt I've owned or my favorite t-shirt, I've never felt so badass in this UFC. Nice compression fit. I look a little swole. Dude, can't beat this shirt. Can't beat it. Got to show it off. If you're watching on YouTube, which I also want to say, my views doesn't matter to me. Views do not matter to me because I'm doing this for me and anyone who wants to listen. But what I said I was going to do a shoey this episode. I got 12 views on the last YouTube video. If all those people who viewed liked it, I'd be doing a shoey right now. I wouldn't be drinking water. I'd be doing a shoey on a Tuesday afternoon. I was ready to do the shoey. I put it out on social media. I made a little clip. I was ready for the shoey. I'm going to double down on it. I'm going to double down on this. If you're supporting me and you're watching this on YouTube, especially YouTube, 10 likes on this video of me just talking, chatting. 10 likes. It's not that many. Just click that thumbs up. If you have a valid email, sign into YouTube, boom, click, done. That's all you got to do. I'm at the point where you don't even have to watch this thing all the way through. Just give me that like. 10 likes, and I will do a shoey. And I promise. It's going to make for great content, one way or another. I'm going to like it. I think it's going to be funny. I've never done a shoey before. It's the new thing to do. It's cool. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's not the coolest thing, but Tai Tuivasa makes it look cool. He makes it look dope. So I'm here. I'm here for the shoey. Like the video. Please like the video. Anyways, hope you enjoyed your weekend. Weekends are fun. spend by the pool, do what you do. I got a good weekend coming up. Good weekend coming up. Going back up to the hometown. Gonna hang out with my best friends from high school. We're gonna have a fun Saturday. Chris Dawkins was supposed to fight Saturday night on the Dillashaw card. Great opportunity, awesome card. That fight is no longer on the card for Saturday. His opponent's camp, someone tested positive, but I guess from what I'm hearing, all things are good for the following Saturday. So that's the end of the month card, which, you know what, that could actually work out better, I think, for Chris. Maybe I don't know that card exactly. I know the main event is Uriah Hall and Strickland. Maybe it'll bump him up to main card. Who knows? Maybe up pretty high. That'll be a good look for him. More eyes, maybe. Well, see, that's what I was thinking with this card. It'd be more eyes because you got Sandhagen and Dillashaw who are going to bring in some eyes. But I don't know. This might work out for the diehards, especially for that end of the month card. Especially if it is on the main card. Get some good views, and we'll see what happens there. Excited for that fight. I'm excited to get him on the podcast. I said if I do get him on, all things considered, I'll wait till he's done with this fight, and then we'll get to talk about potential top fives. That'll be something special to talk about, especially in the heavyweight division. Mind blowing how some things work out. But there were fights this weekend. There were fights this weekend. I was kind of in and out of them. I did what I said in my last episode. I was playing a lot of Xbox. Had the laptop right next to me though, so I was kind of tuning in, tuning out. I didn't know a lot of the fighters in the early prelims. I don't know how that was for all you guys. So like I said, I was in and out. I was locked in for the last 3 fights. Four kind of. The Stoltzfus fight, I was kind of locked in there. He got submitted though. What are you gonna do? But like I said, those last 3 fights, they were pretty good, man. They were exciting. Star, be careful what I say here, because a star wasn't born on that card, but Islam Makhachev is he's a special fighter. That's for sure. Khabib effect through and through. Like Khabib's rise and his rise, they're on the same trajectory. The right now the only difference I see is Islam has 1 loss. But I don't know. Does that even really, that does not matter at this point in the game. It really doesn't. You see so many similarities when Islam's fighting. And the thing is, you don't see him fight that much. Why? Well, not a lot of guys want to fight him. And that's where it gets tricky. That's where it gets kind of tricky for a guy like Islam, because he's trying to climb the ranks, but no one in the top wants to fight him and lose their spot. So it's a very tricky situation. That's why you get a guy like Moises. That's why he's fighting a guy like that. And even watching that fight, it's so Khabib-esque, man. So Khabib-esque. It's just a grind. It is 100% just a grind for Thiago. An absolute grind. That fight goes 4 rounds, but it was just lopsided as all hell. Lopsided as all hell. I'm going to pull this up like I do. Talk a little bit about that more in depth here. All right, so Jeremy Stevens, you're always excited to see Heathen fight. He's an exciting fighter. He's exciting to watch. I was excited for that fight. He was supposed to fight a couple weeks ago. The opponent got injured in their stare down because of the shove. He comes in a little, well, not a little. He comes in very calm. Gamrot, again, man, like I didn't know much about this guy. I thought Jeremy Stevens was going to have a lot of success with him, potentially knock him out. Like I didn't know. I didn't know what was going to happen because you don't know with these up and coming guys. But damn, Gamrot looked great. He looked sick. First round submission, made it look flawless. And that's what I say a lot of the times here, guys. Like now I'm excited to see what's next for him and who he's going to fight. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. And Jeremy Stevens, he's not done. I think he's like 28-19 now. So we'll see where his next fight goes. We'll see what happens. Then you got the co-main. The return of Miesha. Return of Miesha Tate. I'll tell you, at first, like some fighters say ring rust isn't a thing. Other fighters say ring rust is a thing. You be the judge. First round was slow. The second round, it was kind of the same thing here and there. Miesha ended up looking great late in the fight, which is huge for her, especially with that long layoff. She looked awesome in the third round and got the finish in the third round. Shots from the top. It was she looked as good as I think she could have. So what's next for Miesha? She has options. I do not think you throw her in there with Amanda Nunes. I mean, I don't know who's beating Amanda. So that's tough. I know Holly, I guess, said something. Holly Holmes, get that rematch. That fight excites me as a fan. I'm cool with Miesha Tate versus Holly Holmes. That'd be the second one, I think. Holly wants to get that revenge, but that hurts Miesha. So if Holly comes in and just because Holly's been active, if she comes in, does her thing, knocks out Miesha, submits Miesha, I guess the title picture kind of goes out the door a little bit. So then you think, well, then what is next for Miesha? I'd have to look at the division a little bit, but I don't know. Miesha wants the belt, and I get that. She's one of the women who was at the forefront of women's MMA in the UFC. So we'll see what happens with her. I'm excited to see because now I guess she's back. She wanted to prove to herself that she could still do it, and goddamn, she could still do it. She could still do it and looked good doing it as well. She looked good doing it as well, especially being out since 2016. It's a long layoff. That is a long layoff. But I'm proud of her. I was always a Miesha Tate fan, and I'm like I said, I'm excited to see what's next. And we'll all find out together. But we will go to the main event here now. Go to the main event. So here's the thing. Like I was saying before in my little rant, nobody wants to fight Islam. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what tweets you see. I don't care what some guys may be saying. Nobody wants to fight this dude. Nobody wants to fight this dude because he's going to maul you like Khabib. He's going to maul you like Khabib. It's that simple. There's just this, when he gets into the ring or the octagon, there's just something about him that says, I'm gonna either choke you out or I'm gonna knock you out. And that's what happened with Khabib too. Like Khabib was the same exact way. Couldn't find opponents. So Thiago steps up to the plate. First round, all Islam. Second round, all Islam. Third round, all Islam. Fourth round, he finally gets a submission. It's a grind. It is a grind fighting these guys from Dagestan. These top tier guys from Dagestan. It's a grind. They have that. It's not like a US style wrestling. It's just a different beast. It's a different beast and a different kind of wrestling. And he makes it look good. He makes it look good. I was never the biggest fans of Khabib and this Islam. I was never the biggest fan. Connor kind of took me away, and I was in my Connor fandom, and like I just didn't want to be fans of these guys. But the more I'm doing this kind of stuff, like the podcasting and looking into these guys and their story, how can you not like these guys, man? They grind. They leave their country to come here and train full time, and it works out for them. It works out for them. So you say what's next for Islam? Called out, I think he called out almost every name in the book, but who's going to step up to the plate and say, "Yep, I'll do it. I'll do it." I thought the Michael Chandler, that when he was being interviewed and Michael Chandler was also there, I thought that was kind of not the best look for Michael Chandler. He just wanted to stay as an analyst, which I get that, but you see some of the fighters who they'll start talking back. I don't know. Like, but see, here's the thing, and I'm going to stick up for Michael Chandler here too. A fight with Islam right now does absolutely nothing for Michael Chandler. It does nothing. So yeah, Islam's going to call out all these guys because yeah, he does want a top name guy. I'm cool with RDA. RDA, that's a cool next fight. I'm 100% with that. I'm cool. I'm cool with that fight. I mean, who else? The Tony Ferguson fight. That's another one that makes sense to me. Tony's kind of on his way out a little bit. I mean, he's still there. He's still doing his thing, but I think that fight makes sense for both parties. Tony wins, he's there. He's right back in line for whatever he wants. Islam wins, he keeps projecting forward. So I don't know. I think those two fights make the most sense. Tony Ferguson, especially because Tony and Khabib had a lot of stuff, fights fall through, this, that, the other. I think so. You throw Islam in there. He's fighting for Khabib. He's fighting for himself, and he's fighting to move up in the rankings. I think that's an awesome fight. And like I said, for Tony, it's kind of the same thing. I think it's a good fight for Tony. Because if Tony does get that win, which he could, Tony's a wild man, wild card. I think he puts him right back up to whatever he potentially would want. That's what I'm thinking right now. That was fight night in a nutshell. Wasn't the biggest card with the biggest names, but Islam, he doesn't have to say much. He doesn't have to do much of the pressers, this and that. He just does his thing and mauls. So shout out to Islam Makhachev. And I'm excited for what's next for him. Now, moving on. Big card this weekend. I will be discussing that card for the most part in depth, the fights that I want to highlight on my Friday episode. But I'm going to fast forward to that end of the month card. I think it is 31st. I think it's the 31st. Yep. July 31st. So, one of my favorite fighters was scheduled to fight on that card. One of my favorites. The Korean Superboy, Do-Ho Choi. What a name. What a nickname. Love that guy. Love the Korean Superboy. How can you not? Look at this dude, man. He looks like everything but a killer. And he's a killer. He rose quick through like 2014 to 16. He rose and his stock rose, man. He was in some fights where he was just knocking dudes out. Then, in my opinion, he has one of, if not top 5 greatest UFC fights of all time at, I want to say, I'm thinking in my head here, UFC 206. I think it was the card right after Conor versus Eddie. So think about that. That fight against Cub Swanson, one of the greatest UFC fights of all time. Listen, stop what you're doing right now. If you're listening to this, I don't know if you're driving, if you're just hanging out at your house, though, and you could find a way to find Do-Ho Choi versus Cub Swanson, UFC 206. Watch that fight. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. But back to what I was talking about here. He was scheduled to fight on that July 31st card, and now he's out. It's a bummer. Bummer, man. It's a bummer. It's been a long time too for Do-Ho. Been a long time. Let me see this. It's been a long time. So he didn't fight in 2020, obviously. His last fight was in 19, and he got knocked out. That was a tough one. That was on, I want to say, now, that was on like one of those cards where it was in, oh man, where was it? I got to look it up now that I'm here. Okay, so it was in South Korea, I think. Is that where that is? Is that South Korea? Yep. All right, Corey, 2 points. 2 points. So that was in South Korea, and he got knocked out. He got TKO'd pretty bad. Then in 18, he only fought Jeremy Stevens, got knocked out pretty bad. So his last 2 were tough. But then he fights Cub Swanson. Now, the reason he's had some lengthy layoffs because in South Korea he's technically in the army, I want to say, and he has kind of like how the Korean Zombie was. They have to do certain military obligations. It doesn't matter what your occupation is, I guess. So if you're called upon, you're called upon, and that's why his fights are a little. They're not like always in line. Now, with that being said, 2014, boom, TKO. 15, TKO. 3 TKOs in a row. He was on a tear. I'm telling you, if you have time, look up old Doho Choi. Look up old videos, old some of his old fights. He's a beast, man. Super fun to watch. And how can you not like this? Come on. If you're watching YouTube, come on. How can you not? How can you not, man? That's so that's a bummer. He's out. That's a bummer. Kyle was gonna be there. Kyle was gonna be there with his brother. When that fight got switched, I was like, hell yeah, baby. I'm gonna get Kyle to get Doho Choi's autograph for me. It's not gonna work out. So I hope to see Doho Choi soon. I hope to see Doho Choi soon because it's like I said, it's been a little while since we have seen him. So he'll be back. He'll be back, and can't wait to see him fight. Last thing I want to discuss. I haven't talked about it in a while because it's kind of been it's the dead period right now for the PFL. But we got playoffs announced. Playoff lineups are announced. August 13th, ESPN2, first round action. And man, do we have a banger for the main event. Ray Cooper III, who had a super, super impressive PFL season, is fighting Rory McDonald. Mark your calendars for August 13th because this is going to be a banger. It's going to be a banger. Rory's coming off that very, very, very controversial loss. And Ray Cooper's just been on a tear. This is going to be an interesting fight. Rory's going to be coming out for blood. And Ray Cooper's just going to keep doing what he does. And that's try to get the dub and try to get the PFL belt and $1 million. So I'm super excited about that fight. And like I said, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit because for my first couple episodes, I was talking about the PFL a lot, and I was actually having fun talking about the PFL. I don't think the PFL gets enough credit it deserves. As an MMA, not as an MMA organization, just as like a media spot. I don't think it gets a lot of media attention. So, hey, maybe I'm your guy to talk a little bit about it as I'm in my UFC fight kit. Crack myself up sometimes. But then they're back the next week. Kayla Harrison. What can you say about her, you know? So this full schedule's up. This 27th card is going to be sneaky good too. Brendan, he's in first place in his weight class. He's absolutely a savage. You got Bubba Jenkins. I'm telling you, we'll talk way more about this when it comes up in the next couple of weeks. Oh, and I can't forget about Jamel Jones, CFFC guy. Comes in, short notice, wins. Boom, you're in the tournament. CFFC, baby. Turn me up. I love it. Love seeing the CFFC guys. Especially the ones I've watched fight. Because CFFC on UFC Fight Pass, awesome. Awesome investment. That's episode 9, guys. I talked about what I wanted to talk about. And came out pretty good. I don't think I missed anything. If I did, I will be sure to talk about it on Friday. I got to get that episode out quick, like I did for this last one. I had to kind of get it out quick because I had some stuff going on, but it all worked out. Like I said, I'm coming back to it. If you're viewing this on YouTube, which even if I'm averaging 15 views a video, that's just a round number. I'm just rounding it. Drop a like if you're viewing it, if you're listening to me talk, whether you're making fun of it, whether you're enjoying it. drop a like. Because 10 likes, I'm doing a shoey. I got to spice things up. I'll do everything too. I'll do it. But again, thank you for the support. Thank you for tuning in, whether that be on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I really do appreciate it. It brings a smile to my face when somebody says, hey, listen to your podcast, or when I get a new DM that kind of just says, hey, like what you're doing, whether that be guys from Canada, a podcast group from Canada messaged me, said, I like what you're doing. And I'm sorry, I forget their name, but I appreciate them because they're trying to do the same thing. They're just grinding, talking about stuff they love and enjoying it. So again, thank you. And I'll be talking to you guys soon. I'm your host, Corey Keene. Peace.
Coming live, more bounce. You know what I'm saying? This is for all my nights. Let me stop playing. Y'all thought I was gonna say sexy ladies, right? Hell no. But yeah, this is called more bounce. You know, more bounce to take. We coming live in the 814. Penn State, that is.